Welcome back everyone. Today we've got a beautiful titanium Enigma bike in Super Record Campag 12 speed, top of the range, beautiful bike. However, it's got a floppy lever. There's a return spring broken in this shifter, and customers actually used an elastic band to keep it running. Still works, don't get me wrong, but if we take this off, this lever's got no return spring in it whatsoever, so it's dead. I don't think this is repairable. However, I'm going to take it off the bike and have a look. If it's not, I've got a new one on the way anyway, but we'll have a go because it's quite expensive. Let's see what we can do. So yeah, we've got a floppy lever. So there's a little tiny return spring inside here that should pull this back in, but it's broken. I can't find any spare parts other than a complete unit, a blade lever here on hoods, and it appears to be riveted together. So I don't think it's repairable. However, because this bar tape's in such a state, I'm going to take the bar tape off, I'm going to disconnect the shifter, obviously, take the whole lever off the bike and see if anything can be done. I don't think it can, but I'll show you how to fit a new lever anyway, because that's on the way. We have new hoods because it's got a massive split in it. So the first thing we're going to do is take that off because it makes life a bit easier. Like I say, it's already damaged here anyway, so we're just going to cut it off. You could probably tear it off, to be fair. It doesn't take much doing. We have got replacements of this, definitely. So this is mechanical brakes, mechanical gears, Super Record. Disconnect the brake cable, disconnect the shifter cable, and pull them through. It's a UK bike, so the brake is on this lever. The front brake is on this lever. We'll try and reuse the cable. I mean, it's a nice looking derailleur, isn't it? Full carbon, beautiful thing, but not so beautiful price. Well, I don't know how much this is. I know how much the levers are, but they're quite a lot of money. But there's no denying it. It does look sexy as. Works quite well as well when it's working properly. What with a broken lever, it doesn't. Well, it does actually shift. Like I say, it does shift. It's just not ideal not having that return. So this bike has a full external cable, so it's dead easy. Just going to pull these out. Get this bar tape off. Flick upwards. Don't cut the bar. Even though this bar is in a pretty sorry state, to be fair. Get this off. So I'm 99.9% sure we can't repair this lever, but there's no harm in giving it a try. The new lever I've bought is returnable, so if I can fix it, I'll just send it back. Right, that's off. Got enough tape wrapped around here, haven't we? Jesus. Anyway, let's cut this off. Look at the state of the bar though. It's a well-used bike. So all these housings should just come out now. Always amazes me how shallow these Campag ones seat. They only go in a couple of millimetres. It's crazy. No, it does the job. Take the brake one off. Cable's out. Just push the brake one out the front, like so. I do like that about the Campag. It's nice. Right, we're off. So this is a T25 Torx. So it was a customer on the phone coming to collect his Villiers. What a beautiful bike that is. I don't know if you've seen a video by the time you see this one, but oh my god, it came out so nice. What a bike. Anyway, he's on his way. So she's off, and you can see the issue here. Look, there's no return on that spring at all. There's just no way we're going to be able to repair this. First of all, we've got to get this blade off though, so these should press out hopefully, and take the blade off, and then we can see what's actually happening inside here, or not. I'll try again. I've just recorded that once. I didn't record it, that's the problem. So there's the spare hoods. New lever's not here yet. It is coming, I think, tomorrow, hopefully. And this is obviously the broken lever. So we're going to get this blade off here. I know this does come off, because you can buy this as a spare part. I have already taken this piece and then realised I've not pressed record. It basically just pulls out of there. And there's a bush that sits behind it, so that's all you've missed. And then we need to get this second pin out here. So a lot of brake levers, you'll see a little grub screw down the middle of this bit here that you need to undo to take that pin out. There's nothing here, it's just one of these split bushes as well. So by the looks of it, it should just push out. Get a bit of plastic and see if we can just push that through. Because we do need to retain this bit for the new one. It's not coming out there, is it? Bit of a road rash on here, so that might be sort of keeping it in place slightly as well. I really don't think it is repairable, unfortunately, but we do need to get this lever off here to fit to the new lever body when that arrives, because this is not going to be fixed. Crazy now. Flipping, how much money are you going to write off for a poxy little spring that you can't change? Drift this pin through here. Just need to be a bit more persuasive with it. Let's see if we can just drift this through. It should come out fairly easily by the looks of it. Yeah, it's moving now. Definitely coming out now. Good. There you go. This lever should just come out now, hopefully. I dread to think how much this piece is. It's literally just one piece of carbon fibre. The Campag written on it, so that's double the price. Anyway, it's off. Good. Customer's quite happy to pay for the new lever. However, if we can fix this one, then he'll be even happier. So there's a little Torx screw down here, and there's another Torx screw on the other end. And by the looks of it, that should remove I only want this front piece off really, so like I said, I've got nothing to lose. I'm going to take this out and see what happens. It's coming out. I've got a pile of springs on the bench in a minute. The chances of me actually getting this back together, even if I can fix the spring, are going to be slim. Never ever take shifters apart if you can absolutely help it, guys. This silver plate on the front looks like it might want to come off. Like that. So now that's off, that bolt's off. This kind of feels a bit freer now. I'm just hoping this whole assembly will just pull off now. In case of working it off until it comes off the end, and then we'll see what we can do. There you go. Right, good luck putting that back together, Stuart. So this is the offending part that's broken. Basically, there's a spring in here. It ain't springing. Can you buy this part? No, you can't. Well, I could find anyway, and I spent some considerable time looking for this. So this spring here is snapped, as suspected. This piece here, come out. A bit there's broken. Supposed to attach the other end of the coil inside there. So you can't buy this spring. You can't get this piece of lever apart. It's riveted over, basically pinned over on this end. So that's the pin that goes through there. That's the other end of the pin, and then they pin it over. Yes, you could potentially drill this out. You can't get the spring, so it's dead in the water, unfortunately. You can't buy this as a sub-assembly that I'm aware of. I can't find it anywhere online or Campag spare catalogue anywhere. It's dead, unfixable. So that's £440 for a pair of these shifters, I think, done by a little spring that you can't buy as a spare part. So yeah, it's not ideal, is it? So we'll wait for the spare part. It comes basically as this lever here attached to that with a working spring. And then you just press that new blade back in and reconnect your cables, wrap your bars, send it. So we'll wait for the new part. Disappointing. Right, so it's the next day and a very expensive package has arrived. So new shifter internals. Well, basically most of a lever really. I've had a quick look at it and it's the correct one, thankfully. I hope so. And there she is. 130 UK pounds for this piece. Significantly cheaper than a complete assembly, but still a lot of money for. Basically, it just feels like plastic, I'll be honest with you. A few bits and pieces in here, but it seems like a lot of money. Anyway, it's the right one, and we need to put it back together. So what we need to do really is obviously reassemble this blade into here, using these 3 bits here. And that's all we need to do. Then we can get it back on the bike, bang some cables in it, and wrap the bars, set the gears, set the brake. Job done. So this top one that I took out didn't actually need to come out. So let's just put this back in when it's off the lever because it's going to be a lot easier. Center it up like that and this pin just pushes through there and through the middle of that sleeve. Like so. And then just push it all the way through. Like so. So that bit's in. So this bit here now obviously drops into this new lever. Thinking about it, the reason they don't really sell this spring is because you can see how difficult that's going to be to reassemble. Even if you could get it apart, change that part over, it's going to be almost impossible to get these pieces back in here and together. So I guess it's just easier and quicker. I do when I can save the customer some money, but it'd just be impossible. You can't manufacture a spring, you can't heat treat it before you all shout, make a spring bend a bit away. You can't do that. Not that simple. So I'm going to push this in. There's some little bushes here that need to just squeeze it under. That sits in there like that. And then this pin that drifted out goes back through from this side here. And it just pushes in back through there. Might need a bit of a love tap, but it shouldn't be too bad. Tiny little baby mallet. Mallet's the same size as the lever. It's a great little one this is. Just put that on a bit of wood so we don't damage anything. This bit of wood here is for getting pedals out. I'll show you one day. It's super useful. That's in. Easy. Alright, all back together. Floppy lever fixed. Expensively, I guess, but hey, it's Campag for you. Nice kit, but geez, it's like a Ferrari, isn't it? Brake disc like £10,000 instead of 50 quid, so it looks awesome, but Jesus, you got to pay the price for it. Right, let's get this back on the bike. I'm just going to unwrap the other side of this. Obviously, we're not going to wrap one side of the bar. That'd be a bit ridiculous. So I'm filming 3 videos today, so I just don't know how this is going to go. Little bits here and there. Most of it's while I'm waiting for parts, like these levers. This lever's just arrived, so smash through this one. And then I've just done what else have I done? This Scott dual suspension mounted bike with crazy XTR shifters on it. I'm not sure when you see these videos what order they're going to go in yet, but then I've got a full conversion, flat bar conversion to do on a road bike. I've done a flat bar before, I know, but this is a much more involved job than that. That's going to be the next on the stand after I finish this. So I'm just going to get this onto the bar now. They've put that super tight, haven't they? Slide it on. Customers asked me to make sure these are level because you probably noticed they were nowhere near level when it came in. So we'll do a bit of work with that as well. So I'll go up to here, get it somewhere close, and then we'll get some gadgets out and make sure we're pretty much level. Right, so I'm just tilting that in to match the other side, because that's basically the tilting sort of forwards like this ever so slightly. So that looks good there. And now we just got to check the height of from here to here. We need to use a different tool for that. I'm going to cut this hood off, like I say, because I've got a new one and I need access to that. So it's already torn here as well, so this one's coming off. It's probably one of the most used tools in the workshop, is a good knife. I'm not saying it's a good one, but it's been pretty good to be fair. Take that off. So we're going to presume that this lever is where he wants it, so we'll make sure this is tightened good enough. That is super tight already. And then we're going to level this point here to this one here. I mean, yeah, you can do it by eye, yeah, you can do it, take measures to the floor, but you've probably seen the little gadget that one's got. Jesus, that's tight. They don't need to be that tight, guys. It's literally, oh my God, that is tight as. Chris King headset on this. Look at the marks on here. Someone done alright go at it. I've never been in there before, that's for sure. Oh, this needs to come off as well. Right, now we need our gadget. This one here made by BSC Tools. I think quite a few other people make these. And that allows you to put your derailleur alignment gauge on here. This is my AliExpress one. Coming up for 4 years old, this. Good as new. Quarter of the price of other well-known brands. Check my video out on AliExpress Tools, don't believe me. Fantastic bit of kit. So spin that around to what you know is the good lever. Press that down, exactly the same as if you're doing the alignment gauge. Rest that on there, and then we'll spin this around to the other side. And that needs to match onto this lever. Currently miles away. So we're just going to raise this up to a bit closer. That's pretty much touching there. And on the other one, still needs to go up a smidge. Is that an American word, smidge? What does that mean? It means a tiny amount. Right, so that one's on there. And that one is pretty much exactly the same. Get your bars aligned. Done. You don't need to go crazy tight on that. I keep saying, if you have an accident and you want to smash this 200-pound lever off or blade off, feel free, but ideally you want this to be loose enough. In an accident, it's actually going to spin around the bar. It will get a bit scuffed, but it's not going to snap the blade off. So it needs to be tight enough for normal use. If you have a crash, you want it to spin around the bar. Make sure you're all the way down. Get a cable in there. Right, I'm just going to reuse these outers because they're actually in pretty good condition. And get this wrapped up. Let's use another 6 miles of tape like the other side was. Let's run out. So this comes as a box of Velox tape. We've got loads of this stuff. I'm going to attempt to reuse this brake cable. Here's a Campag one. This can be a bit challenging to get through the housing. This would have been easier to put on before I put the tape on. Never mind. Right, it will. I'm going to twist it at the same time, and then the strands don't unwind so much at the same time as pushing it, and hopefully not gone in. Feels good. Drop that through the caliper like that again. Connect that up in a minute. I will try the gear cable again. It's a Campag stainless cable. It's in really good shape. So I'm going to attempt to get this through the housing. It's just this end here that makes it challenging. I'll give it a go. Got plenty of spares if not. So Campag, there's a hole in here. Basically, you just shove it in the bottom hole. I mean, shove it in the cable entry port. And that'll come out there like that. And it goes back through here. It'll pull some through actually. Then it goes back through here. This is the tricky bit to get this in without kinking it. You can pull these bits of plastic out if need be, give you a bit more space, but normally you'll get it through. Wish me luck. Right, that's through the down tube, that's good. I'll put my gloves on because this is a bit on the oily side down here. Let's get this cable under the bottom bracket and through to the rear mech. Through this last piece of Campag housing. Twist it in like this and it just keeps the strands together if you've got to use cable. And then that's through the end, no problem. Right, we've saved the cable. Through here. We're in. Right, so that is connected. We know we're in the right hole in the lever. Otherwise we couldn't have got it in there. We just need to clamp it back down to the derailleur. Just put a bit of tension on it. We've obviously got barrel adjusters anyway, but try and get it somewhere close and make sure your chain is on the correct sprocket as well. Right, let's see how that goes. Just put that on there now. So with Campag, you normally set this onto the 4th sprocket and adjust it basically on the barrel adjuster until there's no noise, and it should shift fairly well. However, I'll show you this bike. Not bad. Goes up fairly well. Doesn't mind coming down though. A little bit sluggish coming down, well quite sluggish coming down, but I'll show you something. This chain wear tool, it's my Unior tool that I normally use. So we're looking for 0.7. Oh my god, that's set to 1%. The chain must be about 1.5–2% worn. I'm never going to index that correctly. That's as good as it's going to get until we spend money on a new chain and a new cassette. Probably chain rings at this state of way. That's absolutely destroyed. Wow. Right. Anyway, I'll speak to the customer separately and see if I want to invest in this, because I know he's investing a lot of money into his other titanium bike at the moment. And this is going to be a fair expense for a 12-speed Campag cassette. Wow. Probably one of the most worn chains I've ever seen, I think. It's absolutely destroyed. So just before we continue with this, just want to take a minute to thank this channel's ongoing sponsor, sportandleisure.com. Sport and Leisure are a UK-based cycling retailer with thousands of parts, tools, clothing and accessories ready to ship. Their listings are clear with proper descriptions and really good pictures, which I really appreciate. Some of the sites I use, oh my god, and they're in stock. They're not in Spain and 3 weeks away. Ask me how I know that one. So if things are listed as in stock, as I say, they're actually in stock on the shelf, ready to ship. Order before 3 PM and it will ship the same day. UK shipping is free on all orders, but if you need it faster than that, the next day delivery is only £2.50. Bargain. So whether you're after some new wheels, brakes, even a group set, new levers, then prices are pretty much unbeatable. They've also given me a discount code for viewers, so if you use the code BCR10 at checkout on your first order, you'll get an additional 10% off these incredible prices. So the link's in the description below. Thanks again to sportandleisure.com for continuing to support the channel. Now let's get back to this. Right, let me just power through this, get this wrapped up. I have actually put that piece back in here because Campag hood's tiny exposed bit, so I'm cheating a bit on this one, sorry. That's okay, I've got to get this hood on in a minute. I'll just wrap the other side up first though. I just use a bit of hand sanitizer in these hoods and basically just lubricating the inside of it so it slips over. And then you just slide her on and hope you don't rip this £40 hood. You can put it on from the other way before you put the lever on the bar, but that's not really the idea. You should be able to do. Get these on without having to strip down the entire bike to get them on first. Yeah, that's the difficult bit done. God, I hate doing them. You've got to get this bit over this lever here. There's a slot in here that it goes on. It's just a matter of manipulating it around until it sits in. Right, okay, that's finally dropped in. Just take a bit of manipulating around sometimes. So apologies, I'm having some audio issues. I don't know what's going on with these microphones. This is the 20th time probably I've recorded this bit. But you saw me there wrapping these bars, new Dida tape. I've used Tessa cloth tape here. This is what they use on car electrical looms, basically. So really nice finishing here. Super, super sticky. That's never coming off. And it looks a lot better than the vinyl stuff. Obviously the new lever blade there fitted and testing. That's working nicely. New lever hoods fitted. So to fit these hoods, I use some hand sanitizer, basically a lotion. It just lubricates on there and then evaporates off. Makes life a little bit easier, but you got to be pretty firm to pull these over. This Campag is especially pointy here. But they're on there now, and there's a couple of little rubber lugs that you need to make sure they locate properly, to make sure it's fitted correctly. That's basically ready to go now. So finally done, no more floppy lever. Bit disappointing, obviously such a high cost for such a tiny little spare part, but well, it's not really a spare part, you can't buy it, that's the problem. But to be fair, no, I don't think any manufacturers sell spare parts for shifter internals like that, so it's not just a Campag thing, it's just one of those things, unfortunately. Anyway, we're back on the road, new lever hoods, new bar tape, everything working nicely, and good for another few years, hopefully. So hope you did enjoy that. Maybe you learned something. Even don't take shifters apart. Honestly, that's the worst job you can ever attempt. Even some of the older stuff from like 90s, 80s, they're just, wow, there's so many parts, so many shims, springs. Very difficult to do. Normally just buy a new one. I tried, failed. Parts are not available at the end of the day, so what can you do? Anyway, thank you very much for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.